Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at the most recent episode of World Trigger, Chapter 157. Before getting into that, I've kind of touched on it over the last couple of videos. I am looking to make improvements to my channel. So what to look out for first is probably custom thumbnails or thumbnails that I will be looking to do that hopefully will have a more professional finish. And that should hopefully be coming up in the next couple of weeks, as well as hopefully looking at individual openings for series. We'll start focusing on initially the first 6 that I do: 7 Deadly Sins, Fairy Tail, One Piece, World Trigger, Black Clover, and My Hero Academia, and then it will leave on to the monthlies and we'll go from there. Also to look out for in terms of the next few videos on my second channel, Cinematics. There's been a lot of fights happening, a lot of boxing matches happening as well. They'll be covered in my releases very, very soon over the next couple of days, so look out for those as well. But without further ado, let's get into this review. So I want to start off by saying point number 1, I'll get to it, but this was a brilliant chapter. I absolutely love 2 things about this: the battle chapters and the strategy chapters. Amazing. They always go into so much detail, and I can really appreciate the point of views that they take into consideration. With that being said, there's so much more to this point 1 that we discussed. So point 1 is really about the struggle between Ikoma and Yuma Kuga. Being that Ikoma is one of the creme de la creme of attackers in the border organization, the fact that he cannot deal currently with the speed of Yuma Kuga says a lot about Yuma Kuga. The fact that he's has to distance himself and use distance and his Kogetsu Senku for the remainder of the chapter shows a lot about the threat that Yuma poses to Ikuma. So this will probably be an ongoing thing in this battle that we'll probably explore, but that's basically point number 1. Point number 2, creative Yuma. Yuma Kuga, this chapter, as well as other chapters we've seen with his fights with Shun and everybody else, how creative is Yuma? His ability to think on the fly and come up with these things that people haven't seen before is amazing. His use of Grasshopper this chapter, just in itself, was so cool that it set up 2 different defeats in this chapter. One potentially, one definitely, and that is of Satoshi Mizukami and Ouija. Naturally, these were use of Grasshoppers. We want to break things down. Satoshi was part and part teamwork, and although he set up the kill, Ouija took it, which we'll talk about in a bit. And Ouija's defeat also was part in due course to the fact that he lost his legs, but the ability to use the terrain with Grasshopper is amazing. That cannot be taken away from Yuma. Dangerous play, amazing to see, got me so excited. Creative Yuma, point number 2. Point number 3, payback is up. Yes, the irony in this chapter was something to behold, because in the previous chapters there was a kill that Ouija could have had, or Ouija was fighting for, and it was kind of like, it was more he was saving that point because that was his own man, and it was kind of taken from him, so it was like a point stolen. So, if he was an opposing guy, he would have taken that point. But at the same time, it was kind of taken from him at the last second by Yuma, right? So this time round, when Satoshi Mizukami got caught by Grasshopper and the terrain and the lead bullet, for him to steal one back had that whole irony side to it, setting up a point which I'll discuss in point number 5 about the catch-up. But I just like the irony, the fact that Ouija came in at the last second where it looked like Yuma had the point and he took the point. This didn't come easily, because he lost his legs in the process by Kogetsu Senku, obviously because Ikuma did damage, but it was brilliant. I like the idea that it wasn't Yuma, it was catching people off guard. Even the commentators, the audience was thought that. I just liked it. Point number 3, payback is a yes. Point number 4 is more speculation, because it's to do with the strategies moving forward. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the breakdown of the 5th talking point about a few different things, but this one's more to do with shooting and sniping. Now, a key element of this that really made the fight an attacker based fight was the elimination of the snipers. They cancelled each other out. So the fact that Amatori was involved in that teamwork attack against Satoshi and took him out of the equation, that meant that, you know, Ikuma had to be careful. Now that she's taken out of the equation, he can go all out, take out terrain, and not have to worry about a shot. So Oki versus Amatori cancelling each other out, him holding her back, although technically it puts Tomakoma B and Yuma Kuga at a disadvantage. What it also does is it takes the issue of Oki's attack to Ouija and Yuma out of the equation as well. So how does this set up the strategies moving forward? For the most part, it makes it close quarters attacker based fighting, which ultimately is probably the coolest part, because we get to see attacker versus attacker, Ouija, Akuma and Yuma going at it. That's point number 4. So I tried to keep the other 4 points as short and sweet as possible so I can spend more time on this point. So it's to cover the main concepts and the battle parts of this chapter, all summarized in what they could mean. Satoshi's out of the equation. The main attackers are Ikuma, Ouija and Yuma. The snipers are fighting each other, they're dealing with themselves. Now, at the end of the chapter, using this created grasshopper technique, it really looks like Ouija's out of the equation. But like we saw with Kakazaki in the previous battles, it's never ever over till it's bailout, right? Now, so Ouija gets caught with a double-pronged attack. It looks like his attack got blocked. Looking in the panel, it looks like his arm is out of the way, so he can't use his second attack, but he got stabbed through the chest, which normally leads to a bailout. However, 2 things are possible. Ouija can go in for a double takedown, take Yuma down with him, and also he can bail out voluntarily rather than forcefully and save the point potentially. Anyway, that's that. Now, based on that, let's just say Ouija's taken out of the equation. That leaves 2v2, Ikoma's team versus Tamakoma B. Now, if Ikoma can't deal with Yuma close quarters and Yuma can get close to him, that leaves Ikuma at a disadvantage and the advantage to Tamakoma B, right? And then it's the whole matter of dealing with the sniper. Now, if it's the other way around and Ouija wins, Ouija has a better chance of getting more points. I've made some notes and I kind of want to break this down for you just to kind of talk through the possibilities. Now, you've got to look at the points as they come from the whole battle overall. Remember, Ikoma team started off with 27 points to begin with. They haven't still, even at this point, taken any points. Remember, we can still have Ikoma steal the Ouija point as well. You know, it's not been confirmed yet, but he's got the potential of gaining 5 more points, including the survival points, as by defeating Yuma, by defeating Ouija, by defeating Amatori, and the 2 survival points, putting them potentially at 32 points. Now, Tamakoma B are already at 28 points so far for the points that they've taken, but including Ouija, if they can take the Ouija point, that leaves them at a potential of 5 points, which means that they can go anything up to 33. And again, Ouija being the bottom of them, now having taken Satoshi, leaves them at 28 points as well. So they draw with Tamakoma B at the moment because Ouija's point isn't confirmed. So they've still got the chance of getting 6 points as it stands, but that's by defeating Ikoma, defeating Yuma, defeating Oki, defeating Amatori, and getting survival points. Don't get me wrong, it is slim and it is looking hard for him, but it's still a possibility. So bearing in mind, this does not take into consideration any of the other standings, number 1 and number 2 teams. We don't know their points, but it puts them in a good position. Now, granted, Tamakoma B only really need 4 more points because they wanted at least 6 to catch up to number 2, right? So even if Ikoma takes Ouija's points and leaves them at 28, it still leaves them in good standing if Tamakoma gets the rest. So ultimately, although this was meant to be the climax, the match isn't over yet. We will have to wait till next week. But a brilliant chapter, 5 points. I've left you with the standings to give you an idea of what's going on. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. As always, if you haven't, please subscribe and I'll see you next time. Peace.